Hello everyone, welcome back to another exercise tutorial from our chapter 4 tutorial series for our financial management course BUS 223. In this particular video we're going to be looking at problem number 8, so let's read it together. It says, consider the simplified balance sheet for geomorph trading, and then they're providing us with a partial balance sheet that shows some of the accounts or the accounts that we're going to be using in our calculation. Let's read the requirements. A, what is the company's debt to equity ratio? Okay. Now for this one, debt to equity ratio, we're going to need the company's total debt, and we're going to divide it by the shareholders' equity. Remember the rule I taught you in class that whenever you get a ratio that is stated in this manner, debt to equity or return to equity or price to earnings, for example, all of these ratios that are named this way, you're typically going to divide the first term by the second term, okay? Because you want to find how much does this represent as a percentage from this, all right? So this is what we're doing here. Now for the total debt, we do have multiple debt accounts for the company. We have their long-term debts, we have their current liabilities, and we have other liabilities. Okay, so we're going to add all these three together, and then we're going to divide them by the shareholders' equity, which is given to us right here, 190. Okay, so that means this is going to be 60 plus 280 plus 70, all divided by 190. Okay. 60 plus 280 plus 70, that's going to be 410 divided by 190, divided by 190, that's going to be 2.15789, so I'm just going to round it up to 9. Okay, so that is the company's debt to equity ratio, and that's expressed in times. That's a multiple, so you could also write 2.1579 times. Okay, so that means the company's total debt is 2.1579 times their shareholders' equity. Okay? All right. Let's look at the second requirement, B. What is the ratio of total long-term debt to total long-term capital? Okay? So we'll write it down. Long-term debt to long-term capital. We're going to calculate it using the total long-term debt. Again, following the same rule, because the name of the ratio says long-term debt to long-term capital, so we're going to take this and divide it by this. All right, long-term debt, and then divide it by the company's total long-term capital. All right. Now the company's long-term debt is given to us right here, 280. So we're going to write it down, 280. And then the company's total long-term capital is going to include both their long-term debt and their shareholders' equity. Okay? It's called total capitalization. So for the denominator, it's going to be 280 plus 190. All right. Run the numbers. 280 divided by, open a bracket, 280 plus 190. Close the bracket, and that's going to be 0.5957. Okay? And that's the answer to the second requirements. All right? So what does this mean? This means that the capital structure of the company is 59. Let's show it also. Let's just express it in percentage as well. 59.57%, which is almost 60%. So we could say that the capital structure of the company is almost 60% long-term debt. Okay, so they rely on debt more than they rely on equity to fund their investments. Okay. Let's look at the next one. C. It says, what is net working capital? Now, what is net working capital? Net working capital equals the current assets minus current liabilities. Okay, this is called the net working capital of a company. Okay, أو يسمونه بالعربي رأس المال العامل. All right, this is the money that the company has to run the day-to-day operations. So what is the current assets? 100, and the current liabilities 60. Okay, so the net working capital is going to be 100 minus 60, which is equal to 40. All right, and this is expressed in money terms, so this is in dollars. I'm not sure if the numbers here are in millions. The question does not really clearly state. It's most likely is, but I'm not going to assume because there's nothing here that says the numbers are in millions, so we'll just leave it at $40. Okay, which is unrealistic, but let's keep it as it is. All right, last requirement, what is its current ratio? The current ratio, and the current ratio, as you might remember, is current assets over current liabilities. Okay, we already have the current assets and the current liabilities from the previous part, but this time instead of subtracting them, we're going to divide them. So we're going to divide the current assets by the current liabilities. So that will be 100 divided by 60. And that's going to be 1.67 rounded. Okay. So the company's current ratio is 1.67 times, which means that the company can use its current assets to pay for all of their current liabilities 1.67 times over. Okay, which is higher than 1. If you remember, I told you that you want this number, you want the current ratio of a company to at least be 1 or more. All right. that's it for the requirements of this question. I hope that you found this video useful. This should help you answer any similar question. If you have any doubts or anything that is unclear, please drop a comment below. And until I see you in the next problem tutorial, keep on learning, and I wish you the best of luck. Take care.